Greetings, and welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I'm Jim, your friendly Lacuna GM. I use he/him pronouns, and this is our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. Invisible Sun is a surreal slice-of-life game by Monte Games. We are integrating the directed campaign, but most of this happens spontaneously. And I should have put a warning up, really. I should have put a warning up. The warning's just sitting right there. Shall I put the warning up? Here, let me do that real quick. So that was the warning. Good. Now that everyone's received their warning, let us go around and say hello to everyone we have with us today. We will start with Djinnaya. Hello.
Hello. My name is Djinnaya, and I use she/her pronouns, and I am playing Shah Gamelon, an established gallant of the Order of Makers who cages adversaries, who uses she/them pronouns. And yeah, I'm excited to play today.
Excellent. Excellent. And now let us move on to Wilde. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm Wilde Engineer. I am playing Shantano, an itinerant empath of the Order of Apostate who splinters into fragments. They use they/them pronouns.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit soft still at this point, so just wanted to.
How's that?
Oh, that's better. I think that at the end there. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Good. 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 Okay. Cool. Audio. Now let's move on to Anino. Hello.
Hi, my name is Anino. I use he/him pronouns. I am playing Mac the Husk, the itinerant enthusiastic of the Order of the Goetica, who provides a vessel for spirits. He uses they/them pronouns. Yeah, that's it.
Excellent. And finally, Danielle.
Hi, everybody. I'm Danielle. I use she/her pronouns, and so does my character, Vormera Vanas. She is a connected ardent of the Order of Weavers who shepherds minds. Excellent. Excellent. And like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of the players, any of them can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that you're okay having in the game, but you don't want a graphic description of it, type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if you're exploring a topic or area of roleplay that's particularly intense for you, but you want to keep going, you can put an O in the chat to let us know you're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or say something, or then we do or say something or do something and then think maybe it might be a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that and just let us know if we're still doing okay. One thing that I wanted to mention, a little bit of bookkeeping I wanted to mention briefly before we dive in here, has to do with advancement. It looks as though the way things are trending thus far, I think more joy and despair seems to be coming out in the side sessions, in the development mode sessions. That's perfectly fine. It can go either way. If we happen to hit a point that's joy or despair for you, please let me know. Please let us know, and so that we can make sure you actually take joy or despair for it. I think maybe we might try doing that just again as part of just our closing thing. Just if there's anything you think you particularly had joy or despair for, we can bring that up. But one other thing is that apparently I can award acumen capriciously, if I so desire, to an extent. But no, more specifically, you get acumen for specific things, but then also just when you accomplish stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and award everybody one acumen for having done stuff at the fair. Well, thank you.
The party is not yet... The section with the party, of course, there's a bit more to come, and so there may be something else that will happen soon. We shall see.
So that's acumen is generally awarded for completing something, and I feel as though we completed at least a narrative bit, a narrative unit, if you will, within that. So that's that one thing. So I believe when we left off last time, we were at the Eternal Party. This is a party that is always going on and that travels through the dimensions. It nominally is located in a dimensional space, an extra dimensional space in the Indigo, but it also connects to places throughout the and basically everywhere along the path of suns. Just anywhere that there might be a party. Anywhere that a party can possibly happen, that is where it connects with. It latches onto parties and just essentially joins them, as it were. So there is a mishmash, big general mishmash of things. You have, of course, the main hall that was described last time as having certain similarities in its decoration to like Carnegie Hall and such. Some areas of this building, though, as anyone who's sort of wandered around for a while, and you folks have actually been here now for a little while, it's hard to say how long it's been. I will say that for Shantano, Mac, and Devor, you have not seen Shah for a little while, you think. But it's very hard keeping track of time in this place, because time may not be operating exactly the same way as it always might. But you have, over a little bit of time, you've discovered, going sort of... first off, yes, there are no clocks in this building anywhere that you can find. But then also, going upstairs or downstairs takes you to buildings that seem completely different, but that also are laid out for parties. So there's like downstairs, it's kind of more like a sort of a more modern nightclub. It's a little more intimate, except that, of course, there are a lot of people at the Eternal Party, so sometimes you're going to have a sardine effect going on, so a lot of people end up going out to the outside deck, which leads to a number of different places, depending on where you are. But there is always this fenced-in area where you can go if you just want to sit and relax and have a drink under the open whatever happens to be on top of you. There's an upstairs area that's kind of a little more. There are more further areas. The higher up you go, there's an area that's kind of like the Palace of Versailles. Someone having a party there. There's as you go further up. Depending on how deep in you go, you'll find different things. You've heard that somewhere someone stumbled across an office party that was going on, where people were not having perhaps not having too much fun, but more fun now, apparently, since the Eternal Party is connected to it. It's just so the Eternal Party took on that aspect for one of its floors, because somehow that party was good enough. There's a pub somewhere in here also. There's where people are having a party. So basically all manner of things. Any party that you can have basically indoors is in this building somewhere. So that's kind of what you've been noticing. Arashka went off to talk with Isabella for quite a while. And also has not returned at this point. Those of you who are listening in to her conversation got to hear the last of it, and then they retreated somewhere else for a little bit. After a bit, you will see that you will occasionally, as you all have been wandering around in here, you'll occasionally will have seen will catch sight of Isabella from time to time, but she's always like at a distance, typically. But in the meantime, and she may be coming back shortly. We don't know. In the meantime, though, what's everybody been doing as you've been here? Have you been trying for anything? Any particular goals, or just still talking to the same people, or what?
Vor is looking for people who maybe knew her before or who recognize her, so she can try to get some information about what happened to her.
Okay.
So she's just sort of like flitting from conversation to conversation and like introducing herself and then seeing if that like sparks some recognition anywhere, or anyone says, "Oh, Vor, how good to see you." And then if that's not really working out for her, she like moves on to the next group of people as soon as it's polite, of course.
Excellent.
But she's also trying to introduce herself to as many people as possible.
Very good, very good. All right. I think, yes, I feel as though we should see how that's going. I'm going to draw a card.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Okay, if that's what I think it is. Let's see. Let's find out what that is. So, yep. Okay. Before I reveal this card, I need to give a content warning for anyone who might have arachnophobia. Does anyone here, by any chance, have arachnophobia?
No, not me.
Okay. I mean, the players actually cannot see the cards that I'm pulling right now, so that's fine. But I'm just giving that content warning also for the audience that there is an arachnid about to appear. And this is the harvesting spider. Right now, so it is red magic is up, blue magic is down. It is a card of mysteries. Its meanings are action, labor, and stealth. Spiders are so many things: builders, weavers, and caretakers, but also hunters, killers, and blood drinkers. The harvesting spider cares for her young, but at the expense of what she harvests. And that just might be you. She is stealthy and sneaky. Her many footsteps are silent. Regardless, spiders never stop working. They build and create to serve specific purposes. In divination, as terrifying as this card appears, and it does kind of look a little terrifying, its meanings are more esoteric, but still significant. The always active spider signifies action. Act immediately. Work hard. Success can be had, but only as the result of action and toil. The harvesting spider is also a subtle hunter, and thus can suggest that stealth might be required in one's endeavors. So, let's see. So the first thing I'm going to apply this to... Yep, it's going to have to be that. Okay, so Vor, you've been looking around for people that know you. I think you've been wandering around this party doing that for a bit. And you have found your way into a garden. Looks kind of with a lot of sort of Greek statuary type stuff about. After a little bit, you realize that, and you sort of look around and you don't see anybody, and then you realize that you are not alone in this garden. There is someone else here. You feel as though someone else is here.
Do I see said other person?
Feel as though somebody is watching you. You don't see them immediately. But if you have a look around, you will ultimately see someone who is kind of at the back, sort of near the door that you came in through, sort of kind of half behind one of the pillars. And so this individual sort of is looking at you. Is very somebody. It looks like he's kind of gaunt individual. Is about 7 feet tall, very tall, and is dressed in black.
I want to have like looked as like discreetly as possible, so it's not like immediately obvious that I'm just like, oh my god, there's someone here, so that I can be very calm and cool and like not even looking at this stranger when I go, I know you're there.
And kind of steps out from behind the pillar, and yeah, it's like he's under this black suit. It's a very nice suit. It looks like he might be. He moves a little weirdly. His limbs do, at least. It's sort of weird angles. It's like he's kind of made of poles, basically. As he's kind of shudders forward, he's wearing. He's carrying a black top hat. Which he's not, he does not currently have on his head. And he's got sort of a long dark hair. And he just sort of cocks his head. Vormiravanus.
I'll turn to actually look at him now, and I say, yes.
I thought so.
If you have something to say, you should go ahead and say it.
No, I have no qualm with you at this time. I merely wished to be certain you were who I thought you were.
And you're satisfied with that now?
Quite.
Then I would ask you a question.
He seems, and he seems to sort of step back a little bit as though he's wanting to leave.
I'll step forward. I'm not letting him get away. In fact, I will, like, not only will I step forward, but I'll step sort of in the direction of the door, or whichever direction he was trying to move, so that it's, like, not, I don't want to be threatening, but just, like, no, this conversation's not over.
Yeah, he's again, he's a little reticent, but he'll, he's preparing to leave. He's trying to leave, and he's looking down at you. What do you want?
What I want is to know who sent you here and what you know of me.
I was invited.
So So you came to find me of your own accord.
I saw you and thought perhaps you might be who in fact you are.
And why is that important to you?
You do not recall, I take it.
You'll forgive me. It's been many years and a long time in shadow. Have we met before?
I will say, just briefly, that he is starting to look a little familiar.
Okay.
You don't get a specific image, but you do feel like you've met this person before. As he is sort of, let me see here. As he's kind of looking things over. He says, I once had to curtail your activities.
Four doesn't do that. And who might you be that you think you have such power over me?
Power? No. It's my job. And he reaches into a pocket and he hands you a card. And upon the card, and which is now in the handouts, you will see his name and his job.
Oh my god, that's terrifying. Oh, okay. I will take the card. Is there like an address on it, or does it literally just, that's all it says?
That is everything that's on the card.
Okay. Okay. And so I look at it. For those of you who cannot see the card, it says Mr. Child Rectifier, and that's it. I'll take the card and look at it and then just sort of tuck it away in a pocket somewhere, like really nonchalant, like she doesn't care when in fact she cares very deeply. And I'll say, Rectifier. Seems a bit arrogant, if you ask me.
One cannot afford arrogance in my line of work.
And what is that, exactly?
I correct problems.
What sort of problems?
And, he sort of is usually all sorts of problems.
Oh, come. You must be more specific than that.
Let's see. I think that, let's see, what will he mention here? Actually, no, you know what? There are rules for this. So he is a, so here's the thing. He doesn't seem to want to talk to you.
Clearly.
And he is going to, he's going to turn to move around you to leave. And as he just sort of shakes his head. He is a level 6. Although, yeah, he does have... He's not specifically trying to deceive or intimidate you or anything like that. So it'll just sort of be, so we're just going to keep it for now at level 6. What do you wish to bring to bear against this individual?
So, okay, so he said he's just trying to leave, basically. He's trying to walk away.
Yes, but I mean, you're trying to get information out of him, so I mean, we can fold it all into that if you so desire.
So, okay, so I have his card, and, okay, I don't want to start a confrontation here, because I'm smart enough to know that I might be in way over my head because I don't remember what I did that apparently needed to be curtailed. So instead, what I would like to do, 2 things. The first thing as he walks away is I'll say aloud, this conversation isn't over. And then the second thing I want to do is I want to try to read his mind.
Okay.
I can.
So do you have a specific spell or some such thing you want to use for that? Or...
That's my forte ability, is my ability to read minds. So it says, I can read the thoughts of one being within close range. I know what they're thinking and what their overall mental state is. The telepathic link lasts as long as I concentrate and do nothing else.
Excellent. What level is that?
It is level 2.
Level 2, okay. So that already gives you 2, so that's going to knock it down to a 4. Yes. And do you want to bring in anything else?
Well, it does say +1 die, so that means I get to roll 2 dice.
That's right, you're using magic, so you're going to get 2 dice.
Yes. And then I'm trying to think what else I can bring to bear here. I don't know, I have, would an interaction, Benny, be like...
Well, yeah, you basically are, yeah, I would say so, because you're trying to lull him into a sense that you're not doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm basically trying to, like, I'm saying, like, this conversation isn't over, but I'm not, like, actually threatening him in any way or anything like that. So that takes me down to a 3?
Yes, so if you spend 1, that'll take you down to a 3, yeah.
Okay.
And you get 2 dice.
All right, let's try this. Fingers crossed. Oh! Okay, I got an 8.
And there's flux. Because because remember, a 10 is a 0. And that's on the second die, which is the magic die. So this means I have to look at flux again real quick just so that I can remember how that works. Magical flux. So I've got to turn a new Sooth card.
Oh dear.
And
this can only end well.
It can. You succeeded. Oh, here, excellent. I've got a chart here. As to whether this is going to be major or minor flux. So let's figure this out. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and draw another card so that we can see what that is. All right. So this is interesting. Okay. All right. Let me actually pull it up so it can be seen here. This card is Elusive Sleep. It is so right now. So things have shifted. Blue is up, red is down. Its meanings are futility, worry, stress, and awareness. The richest noble cannot buy sleep. The strongest among us cannot compel its submission. Even the wisest person might lose a night's rest to anxiety. Still, when we're awake, we are aware, and that awareness can be crucial. In divination, elusive sleep indicates one is racked with worry, or should be. It might indicate that the stress that one feels is a real detriment, and that whatever is being attempted is utterly futile. Last, this card turn might suggest that the key to success lies in vigilance. So, you get a lot very quickly as it comes surging into your head. And you're getting this this impression of someone who never sleeps. Someone who must tirelessly, although not really tirelessly, because he does get tired, go around working essentially as like a bounty hunter to take care of problems, to see that balance is restored in virtually every possible matter that he is called into. He is perennially exhausted, which you feel is why he didn't want to talk to you. He is also... You also get this sense that... And you see these... Just this blur of faces that you can't sort one from the other, of people he had to deal with. But then there is another face of someone briefly that you can't actually grasp exactly what they look like, but you get an impression of someone that you know. But you remember, and this is the weird part, you don't recall, you're not linking together the face with the name, but you've got a name of someone that you knew that he also dealt with. It seems, or it's like a mutual acquaintance of yours, named Axon.
Axon?
Yeah. Okay. But then it just sort of fades for a second, and as these things are sort of twisting and turning, and you get an impression, you see a few different city streets that are very similar to the ones you're in now, and actually you think you've been to not too long ago. Some of it is you've been sort of going around the neighborhood and outside the neighborhood. And you think they're a little bit to the north. And then you see him, just this last thing is this just an impression where it's like he's looking right at you, and he says, "This is what you did that I had to correct. You get one. In future, stay out." And then he like boots you out of his head.
Does he leave after that?
I mean, he was walking away. He doesn't show any indication that that at all physically that.
Okay. I laugh very loudly.
Yeah.
Like, not an evil laugh, but definitely a "oh, we're not done here" sort of laugh. And then I'll head back to the party, like the main party.
All right. So let's resurface for a moment into the Great Hall. What have so let's see. What have Mac and Shantano been up to in their various things? Who wants to say what they've been doing?
Well, I think Shantano is, once he can't hear what's going on anymore, with Aroshka, he'd be like, or they'd be like, "So, Kayam, I guess, was there anyone you were looking to, speak to? I feel like I've gotten enough, so I wanted to see if maybe I could actually join a group for once."
He's just sort of looking and he's pondering, just sort of squid-like, octopus-like. Two different things, octopus-like. And as he is doing that, let me see here. Yeah, there was something I wanted to throw your way, but of course now it's gone into the haze of memory. So what we're gonna do instead is as he is sort of looking it over, he says, yeah, I think that this pale pink octopus-like creature, as he's sort of flittering about, yeah, hang on, I know somebody. He starts flying over toward this little cluster of folks. And you kind of see, sort of among them, you see among them there's a, where is it? Where did it go? It went away. Oh, God. This person who seems to be smoking a cigarette at first, as you're sort of looking at them. I think I closed the window that has the description of the person in it. That would be terrible. No, there it is. Yeah, sort of a short fellow, very sharply dressed. Seems to be smoking this blue cigarette. And as you kind of as you head over, you see he's talking. He's kind of in the middle of this group of folks that they're sort of chatting, and he's kind of, you know, as they're, you know, and he actually is now latched on to Araya, who from last session, whom Mac was talking to at one point. I do not know if you were still talking to her or not at this point. But he sort of is chatting back and forth with her. You think, actually, Shantanu, you think you might know this person from somewhere. You think his name is Bravish? If you recall correctly. And this is not, and I'm just going to point out, this is not necessarily someone that you might have known necessarily before the war. You might have. Or before Shadow. This is someone that you've seen from time to time. But you were different the last time. You were significantly different the last time you saw them, you think? So there's some slight... I'm feeling as though there might be some slight disassociation, but that's up to you how much there is.
So is that the slam poetry owner?
No.
Someone else.
That is not. However, I had another one that was in here. Oh well, we'll work it out. This is not the slam poetry winner, no. But this is someone who has been to the. Now you're remembering also. This is someone who has been to the coffee house. And so it seems to, it frequents the broken mirror basically, and so that's That's also somewhere you kind of know them from, you think. But he's just sort of looking over at you for a moment as you're kind of coming in. He's like, I know you, don't I?
It's possible. I mean, I'm always traveling. I see a lot of people. Well, most tend to avoid me.
Oh, that's unfortunate. No, me too. I travel a lot. And Aria sort of nods and says, yes, we were just, and Aria, just as a reminder, is half jellyfish, basically. Or seems to be wearing a top that's a jellyfish, but it's actually part of her. She says, yes, we were just talking about, a little bit about the Pale. Have you been to the Pale?
Not sure if I have.
Oh. And at this point, Kayam says,
shadow, right?
Yeah, the Pale is different from the Shadow. The Pale is where the dead people hang out. It's the land of the dead. And Kayam says, yeah, it's still recent. They're still recent. Reasoning. And he's like, oh, yeah, no. It's a fascinating... Oh, yeah, it's a fascinating place.
Is it somewhere that's accessible?
Well, there's one surefire way to get there. But aside from that, it's got a gate just like most of the others. So you gotta still deal with the Guardian if you've never been there before. So you've got that going on. But it's very interesting just because there's a lot of history, kind of obviously, and there's a lot you can sort of kind of suss out about things that way. You've got folks who remember a lot of things that a lot of other folks don't remember, which is always good. Well, not always good, but you take my meaning, right?
Sure, it's a place where you can go to learn things, I guess.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's more what I do. I kind of I have been to pretty much most of the suns. Yeah, top side and night side.
So what did you learn the last time you went?
Well, I just came back from the Pale, and I think, among other things, it's really while it's good to have an appreciation for the past, it's also important to be able to hold on and appreciate what you have now. It's kind of important.
It kind of sounds antithetical to what everything else has been going on. Everyone seems to be trying to explore to advance beyond.
Well, I mean,
present seems to be at a standstill, honestly.
He says, does it? Does it? Have you looked at the now very much?
Well, when you look at the now, only to see what's in the future for tomorrow.
I think I remember where I know you from now. You hang out at that place next door, don't you?
Oh. I live above it on occasion.
Yeah, okay. You look kind of different.
I should hope so.
Have you been to a changery or something?
Oh no. I'd never do that. I'd change myself.
Well, that is interesting. Huh.
So I'm new to this party thing.
Uh-huh.
What is it we should be doing? Talking about in a group like this. Everyone seems to be laughing. How come I'm not laughing yet?
Well, maybe you haven't. Maybe everybody's got a different sense of humor. Maybe you haven't found something that you find funny, or that makes you happy. And Arya's just sort of looking at you, sort of uncertainly. Do you have what? I mean, what do you like to do?
I mean, aside from traveling, I like learning about myself, if that's a thing.
And
Good question, actually.
It's very very introspective.
It's one way to look at it. The other way is I'm just not complete, so I'm trying to find it.
And just sort of look over, and he just sort of looks over to Arya, and Arya's like, I think that's important. Well, especially if you change a lot in and of yourself.
Always, doesn't everybody?
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, I had a major change happen to me by accident, and then I kind of had to. But I've since then I didn't want to go to a changery necessarily and have it taken away from me because I need to learn more about it. Still, I kind of want to learn who I am before I become somebody else. Does that make sense?
I mean, as long as that's what you need. What was the accident?
I was working out on the Unfathomable Archipelago for a bit, and one of the half-worlds, and that's when that's when kittens attacked. No, that's when we became one. She says, sort of gesturing to the jellyfish, who's just sort of nodding along with her. And we're still sort of exploring what that means.
Interesting. What is it like being two beings in one? Do you feel more complete or more confused?
There was a lot of confusion at first, but it's like kind of having an extra sense, I suppose. And it's like that for, well, we're the same person now, if that makes sense. So I'm not who I was in either sense. I was myself, and I was a human, and then I was also a spirit. Yeah. And
the jellyfish was a spirit?
Yes. Yeah. And as you look at it, you see no more. It is kind of it's more of a you study it more closely, and it actually is more ethereal, and it seems to pulse with light in time to her speech.
Interesting. Maybe I should find myself a spirit.
Huh. Well, it's... There are a number of them around. I actually met someone a little earlier who goes looking for them, and she's looking around. What's Mac doing right now?
So Mac was supposed to be hanging around for, but he lost her in the sort of sea as she was moving on with the rest of the party. Kind of happens because Mac is physically bigger and doesn't like pushing around or squinching between people. Mm-hmm. So smaller companions tend to lose him in crowds pretty easily. So he's actually going to look around for Charles Abernathy again. And
okay.
Oh no, I'm going to lose a bet.
Yeah. All right. So it's not hard to find him. Abernathy right now is as you sort of wander over, you're going to see that he is still engaged in conversation with this woman he met that you were all talking to a little bit earlier, Soraya. And they're basically, it was like, I don't, and he's saying, well, oh no, I mean, that's pretty much all I've heard lately. I can't say. And Soraya, again, this is a sort of older woman, again, streaks of gray in her hair. She says, I insist you must know something else. I mean, something really interesting. He says, I feel as though my story bank is depleted almost. My dear lady. Oh, thank God. Hi. Mac, good to see. What have you been up to?
Oh, not a whole lot. I was just enjoying the party, getting the scene. Parties here in the actuality are much different from what I remember in the shadow. Most of the parties I went to in the shadow were at a business company with lots of people smiling fake smiles and talking about how some of the grumpy folks have the case of the Mondays and constantly misspelling other people's names. You know, the usual.
Oh my God, I remember things not unlike that. My stint in Shadow. My sympathies. And Soraya just sort of is looking at you. Have you, is this your first time here?
It is my first time here. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Mac the Husk.
Soraya, enchanted.
Likewise. And
extends her hand.
He will greet her in the proper polite fashion.
Excellent. And he will. She'll ask. And what do you do?
What do I do? Well, like my colleague here, Charles Abernathy, I am a member of the Order of Goetica, and he'll point to his badge. And just above his badge is the Church of Illuminism badge, but he doesn't really talk about that part. He just points to the.
Oh, she says, oh indeed. Do you know our hostess, Isabella? Are you friends with her?
I can't say that we're more than much passing acquaintances.
Yeah. Yes, I'm afraid our dear Soraya is rather curious about everything Isabella's been doing lately. Evidently, it's since she's started adding more levels onto this thing, it's really a question of
She seems utterly fascinated. Yes, well, it is fascinating. I just suspect that there's perhaps a reason behind all of that.
Is there a particular reason why you can't just strive to provide and throw the biggest and longest party in the history of the actuality?
Quite, says Abernathy. Here, let me fetch us a bit, some more drinks, eh? And he sort of tries to wave down one of the fish. I think briefly, as this is going on, I'm actually going to cut over to Shah, who's not got to do anything for quite a while. I'm terribly sorry.
It's okay.
So you are coming back, so you came when you returned. I'm going to say that where you came back through actually looked like it looked like it had returned sort of a beach-like area. It actually looked like you came back through a beach in the Indigo. You have managed to find your way back to the party. Is there anyone in particular you are seeking out, or are you still just sort of wandering around and seeing who you find?
Well, I'd definitely be looking for Aroshka and Vor and Chateauneuf and Mac, because I just had this terrible dream. Like, I woke up from the dream with all of their ghosts in my house. And so I was like, I gotta go find my friends because I'm a jerk and I left them at a party and I didn't say goodbye. And I'm not good at this. And so yeah, I definitely walk around and kind of who I could see to begin with.
Okay. So as you're you've sort of been wandering around looking, I think that this party is, as again, as many levels. You can enter on many different levels. I think you actually end up on first sort of coming in through a place that looks absolutely nothing like the Great Hall. And is kind of one of more of those kind of bar-like areas. I think but you think you hear the sounds of the Great Hall above you, and as you're heading over to the a place where you think the stairwell is, you actually are going to run into Vor coming up the steps.
Trailing butterflies.
Trailing butterflies, indeed.
Vor, hello.
Oh, have you been enjoying the party?
I had to step out for a bit and I got very distracted. But I'm back now. Gosh, that dress is really something else.
Oh, thank you.
Has Aroshka come back?
I was just thinking about going to check on Aroshka. I haven't seen her in, it's probably been at least an hour or two.
All right. I'm just gonna grab a scotch at the bar that looks like a bar instead of like fish, and then head up.
Well, would you like me to go with you? I can grab a drink as well. Well, and she's got her champagne glass in one hand, and I'm like at it, and I'm like, yeah, no, I could go for another drink too. I mean,
I think when you say that, she would just look at you and be like, "You do have two hands."
Yeah, it's a party. Why not? I'll take a scotch as well.
Yes. I'm not sure how it mixes with champagne, but
as the two of you are ordering at the bar, the bartender's bringing you a couple of things. You see Isabella walk in, and she's looking around. She's like, "Oh, there you are. I'm terribly sorry. Got distracted by, well, everything. How are you doing?"
Excellent. Enjoying the party very much.
Good. I'm so glad.
Isabella, have you met Shah?
Yes, I think did we meet?
We did. We met briefly. Shah Gamelan, Order of Makers.
Oh yes. It's very, a pleasure. I'm I'm looking at the sheets again so I can remember who everyone is. Isabella Nora. I'm with the Vents.
Yes.
And at this point, the bartender has handed you your drinks. And, I was just getting ready to head back up to the main hall. Would you care to join me?
Oh, yes.
Certainly.
That would be lovely. Is Arushka not with you anymore?
Oh, she stepped out.
Oh.
Okay. She had to step out for a bit. But she's probably going to be back soon, I think. I hope she's back soon.
Lovely.
She was actually very good to talk to. And because you're all, the three of you are now heading up the stairs, and you're starting to hear the ocean music as you're coming back toward the main hall. And she just sort of looks over, and she says, she was actually able to help me remember a few things, which is good. I actually, and sort of glancing at Vor, I think I remember you a little bit better now.
You know, it's funny that you would say that, because I was actually going to ask you if you remembered anything about me. You know how these things are. My memory's gone a little bit funny, and I just...
Right, yes. No, mine too. I think that, well, I mean, you were always a little bit of a troublemaker. if that tracks.
I'll just do like a very lighthearted laugh, like, that's so funny. But in her head, Vor's like, all right. And then aloud she says, well,
Not in a bad way.
I certainly don't plan to cause you any trouble. Is there anything else that you remember?
Well, I remember you used to, and by the way, feel free to veto any of this that I'm saying, as I'm just suddenly making up your history.
Sure,
I should have said this last time to everyone. But people can feel free to X anything that I say here when it involves your character's history. Or anything that I say, period. So as sort of coming back into the main hall, well, there was... Well, I think I'm remembering that, weren't you involved in running games of chance?
I don't remember anything about that, but that does sound like something I would do.
I remember you doing that, and I thought it was fascinating. Just, I mean, Areshka and I were kind of in it more for the numbers, I think, at the time. Because when she told me about it, she brought me to see something you'd, I think a party you'd set up, actually, at some point.
Although I'm sure no party is as grand as this one.
Well, I try. But you're always hanging out with that guy who does the dice game. Do you know who I'm talking about? Is this fellow who...
Do I know who she's talking about?
She might be talking about your neighbor.
The guy in the dice alley?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming I know.
Yeah, you know who that. Yeah, you know who that is. You've and so if you wish them to be a deeper part of your history, you may do so. Otherwise, you may you may veto that.
All right, sure, why not? I need a name for this person.
It's true. We never actually came up with a name for him, I think.
I feel like I need like a mob boss name for this person.
Al.
Al is pretty good. Yeah.
Tony.
Ooh, we're gonna go with Tony. Tony
Okay.
is good. I like that.
Very good.
Or maybe his name is Al Tony.
It could be.
So I'll say, oh, Tony.
Tony. Absolutely. Yes. I didn't really know him very well, but that I do remember. I think you introduced me to him at some point.
That's probably true. I mean, I do love making introductions.
It's very good. It's very good. I don't think I was quite brave enough to try the game he was running, but he was very skilled. It was very good.
Well, that does sound like something Tony would do. I mean, we do enjoy our games of chance, and you're welcome. We're still running them.
Oh, really? That would be fascinating, actually, to come and see kind of what you're doing with it now. Whereabouts are you these days?
Oh, over where's the map? If you leave the house and go to the east, you can't miss my house. It looks like a deck of cards.
That's your house.
Yes.
I like it.
Thank you.
And sort of as you're kind of coming further into the Great Hall, and you're sort of looking, she's kind of making a swath through these people, and you can kind of see she's got her fan up to her eyes, and she's sort of looking around for people, and at this point, I'm going to cut back over to the area where Mac is, and also, Shantano's in earshot of this, I'm going to say. He's closer to the middle of the room, but you're close enough you can kind of hear this. And also, from the vantage point that Shaw and Vor, that you've just come into the room, you can see kind of where everybody else is. So it's and you can kind of hear. So it's not too big a deal. But there's this point. So Charles has brought back drinks, Mac, and is talking to and is sort of saying, asking Soraya, and like Soraya says, "Well, no, listen, I think is she just coming back?" Soraya is saying, and Charles is like, "My God, it's like you're obsessed with her," and he says.
So actually, Mac will take that point to sort of interrupt. It's like, well, there's really nothing like getting the information firsthand from the horse's mouth. So maybe you should wander on over and engage her in some pleasant party conversation to find out a little bit more information.
And she says, "Oh, quite. I just haven't been able to get at her all night. That's rather more what I've been looking toward, and you'll actually see that. See at this point, Charles is like. Charles just sort of looking at her with narrowed eyes. He says, "Perhaps yes. Tell me, and he just sort of lifts his hand toward the other group that actually, again, are fairly close, with Oriah and Shantano and the other person whose name Bravish, and they just sort of look over, and he just sort of gestures kind of to the and Oriah just sort of looks over and says, "I think I think Charles wants a word. Want to come with?"
Sure, but could you tell me where I can find the spirits?
Well, there are a lot of different places. Have you been to? Depends on what kind of spirit you're looking for. And at this point, also Bravish will kind of follow it. Oh yeah, actually, there are a few different places. Are you looking just locally, or are you wanting to get out, branch out further?
Just to find the ones that would talk to me and listen, possibly join.
Oh. Well, I don't know if the same thing would happen as we're on the as out on the archipelago, but that's one place. But I see there are a few gardens nearby where sometimes you're going to find some spirits. I think there's some that involve sort of where the geysers are. As you're coming closer, you're going to see Araya just sort of comes up, and Charles says, and Soraya is looking a little bit perturbed, and Charles is looking like, yes, Araya, is everything going all right? And she just sort of says, yes, Charles, why? What? And he just kind of sort of gestures with his head towards Soraya, and Araya comes. Yeah, I've just said there are two names that rhyme with each other. Apparently, I've just noticed this. As this is happening, where is it? There it is. All right. Araya's just kind of like, yes, Soraya, why don't we? And she just sort of touches her on the shoulder, and she just sort of looks at her, and she says, "You are not Soraya." There's an uncomfortable pause, even during which the music has died down because this happened to be a break between sets. Soraya just sort of is pulling back, and you see her step back a pace, and she says, "Oh no, come now, that's ridiculous." And she's just sort of looking her up and down. You don't even talk like her. And at this point, Soraya's face seems to melt, as does her clothing. And it resolves into what appears to be a different person. Sort of a thin man with a very sort of thin beard. Sort of light-haired. Sort of hair pulled back. And he immediately, as he steps back, you see him pull a very large, nasty-looking knife, and he points it directly at Charles. As he's looking at, but he's sort of keeping it open, looking at everyone. He says, "Very well then, just let me talk to Isabel. Now!"
So, where am I standing in the middle of this?
You're standing very close, yes.
Yeah. I'm going to attempt to disarm him.
And everyone has seen...
Literally, I mean, I don't mean to just, remove the knife from his hand. I mean to really break his arm.
Excellent.
Invisible Son, you do have to clarify.
It's fair. That's fair. Everyone has kind of seen this, that this is going on. Everyone in the room now. And Isabel is just... Shah and Vori are sort of over by Isabel, and she's like, "Oh, God." At this point, yes, so Mac, you're fighting this individual, and you're trying to remove his arm. He is, let's see, he's normally a level 5. He has a +2 to his defense to dodge. So this is actually going to be a level 7. This is level 7 challenge. So is there, as you're trying to grab hold of his arm, what would you like to bring to bear against it?
So I have breaking objects as a skill.
Excellent. How many levels of that do you have?
I have 1.
1. Okay, so that'll bring it down 1.
Okay. If I use a weapon on my person to do this. Would that also help bring it down?
I'll go ahead and count that as an asset toward it. So it'll bring it down to 5.
Okay.
As a situational asset, we can call that.
Okay. And what if I burn an accuracy?
Yep. That'll also bring it down to 4.
Okay.
I think. Hold it. Wait a minute. So 6, 5, 4. Yes. Math. I can math.
Okay. So, yeah, let's do it that way.
All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
As I see the man brandish the knife, do I feel a reaction from the coins I have?
They are. You sort of reach into your pocket and you feel that they are kind of humming slightly. There's a little bit of a vibration.
Interesting.
As though they're excited about something that might be about to happen.
So I roll 1d10.
Yes, you're going to roll 1d10 and you're looking for a 4 or better.
Oh, thank God.
8. Okay. So describe how you do this.
Okay, so not unlike a dark vigilante who parades the streets of Gotham at night, and a screama stick will slip into Mac's hand out of nowhere. And with a twist and a grab of an arm and a flash of movement, he is going to snap this gentleman's knife arm around in such a way that it would severely dislocate his shoulder, as well as his elbow. And he will do so with extreme prejudice.
Excellent. Excellent.
And maybe he might just feel a little bit of surge of satisfaction, having still feeling the effects of that justice flagon that he had drank off of from the party earlier.
Absolutely. Oh yes. So you snap his arm around and he's like, ah! And you immediately you immediately disarmed him, as it were. So the knife drops, and at this point, I'm going to do a GM shift because you've got him down. I assume you've got his arm pinned behind his back at this point. Was that? You're muted.
It's probably flapping pretty loosely right about.
Oh yeah, so it is flapping pretty loosely, and so he. You see him reach up with his other arm, and he snaps his fingers, and you hear this. You see a magical effect goes off, and there's this. It's like there's this sort of siren that goes off as he does so, that everyone kind of covers their ears. Who right now is closest to the windows? I wonder.
Are there windows next to the stairs we
I was
just
just going to ask that.
Because if there are, then it's maybe us.
Yeah.
So the two of you are going to look over. And Shaw, you see this building that you saw earlier. This
God, the strip mall.
The strip mall comes hurtling toward you out of the fog.
Oh, shit.
And just in front of it, you see this a trio of individuals clad in black swing in on ropes that are attached to it and smash in through the window.
Okay. I will immediately pull out my battle fan and stand between these three people and Isabella.
And I will draw my sword cane.
Yeah.
And
Excellent.
do similar.
All right. We are going to we're going to action mode now, which is is kind of similar to combat, except there's probably more leeway. If I recall this correctly, and I'm going off of memory here, so every round of this thing, I believe I'm supposed to draw a different card to see how it's going to be flavored. So I'm gonna go to Shaw next for an action, as sort of this is happening. But first, I'm going to draw a card, and that card is not showing to me. It's the Empty Gallows, which is a card of notions, and pale magic is up, green magic is down, and that's let's see. Short meanings are rescue, salvation, solution, favorable judgment, and escape are possible here. So that's a very good card. So that said, what would you like to do, Shaw?
So did it seem when these people came through the window that they were headed for Isabella, or did it seem like they were just headed in to harm the party in general?
So it looks like as they're smashing in through the windows, it looks like one of them is heading over. Yeah, two of them are kind of staying on you, and the one in the back is now trying to head over toward the cluster where the person who is not Soraya has just been disarmed.
Okay. I think that I'll push back Isabella if I can and lash out with the battle fan at whoever is within reach.
All right.
With the intent to basically, I'm not definitely going to try to go for the kill, but the idea, like, just back the heck off kind of thing.
Okay, so you want to intimidate them back, basically. Is that what
Well,
you're
if they continue coming forward, then it's going to be a battle. But if they're holding, then she's going to try to make them move back. Like, so it's an attack if they're still approaching. And if
they are still approaching, actually.
Okay,
so you're probably
then it's an attack.
Yeah. All right. Excellent, excellent. So this is going to be. Hang on, whilst I am readjusting. So these folks are going to be a challenge of 4.
Okay.
What do you want to use in your venture?
So I will use my definitely a point from my accuracy. So that brings it down 1. Does the battle fan bring it down 1?
Yes. Anything that something called a battle fan has to have an effect.
Okay.
I feel.
I mean, I basically picture it like it's this, because, you know, she's all covered in all these metal things, that she has this fan that kind of comes out that looks just like a fan on her side, but it's all sharpened blades that she's made, and it's all in the same filigree as like her collar and her skirt and her cage.
That is wonderful. So yeah, that brings it down to 2.
Okay, so I will roll 1d10. And I get a 5.
Absolutely. Okay. So what are you doing to this person, to the one in the lead that's coming at you?
I think that she just comes around with this fan and sort of spins down from his shoulder across to his chest.
Okay. Immediately, you see basically he's bleeding, and he goes down. Pretty much, he's like, ah!
Okay.
Just, sinks to his knees.
Ever the soldier, Shaw will move right back into place so that she is still between whatever else is coming and Isabella.
Yeah, and this is someone that you can't even see a face because they're like coated completely in these black clothes that they've got. I'm going to hop over to Vor, who is right next to you. What are you doing?
Okay, well, I don't know how much I can do in a single action, but I'd like to do something really cool, so I'm going to tell you what I want to do.
All right.
Do it. So I don't know if I can do this all in one turn, but I would like to weave. Let me look at my aggregates. I would like to weave damage from fire and battles from challenge to light my sword cane on fire, and then I would like to hit the other one.
Okay. Green magic is up, pale magic is down now. In this round, we drew the Eternal Mountain. And I need to assign a level to that, yes?
I guess?
I think, for the effect?
Yeah.
That's how we do this thing. Let me pull this thing open. Weaver. It's not right there. All right. So I think that so basically it just your okay, just so I've got it clear and I make sure, and so they can make sure that I'm hearing things correctly, because I was looking at things at the same time like an idiot. You're lighting your cane on fire. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, the sword part of my sword cane.
The sword part of the sword cane? Yes, excellent. That sounds cool. I think I would like to call that level 3.
Okay, cool. All right. Then I will... Okay. I will spend... You said that was level 3?
Yeah.
Okay. I will spend 1 sortilege point to bring that down to 2.
Okay.
And then I will roll for that. Do I get 2 dice for this or just the 1?
You're using magic. You get 2 dice. I think we're gonna say, until I am proven
Oh,
wrong
no.
by actually reading the book.
I got another flux.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Well, you got you hit the target though with your first die. So you're successful. But then you also, although the thing you're trying to affect, oh, that's right. I keep forgetting the thing when you're rolling, you can just cast this. That's the thing. You're not rolling to cast the spell. You're rolling to affect these guys. But since you are using a fiery weapon against them, I'm going to say that's still a success, because you got a 3, and then you got a flux. So let's see. I got to draw another card immediately. So let me see what that is. Oh boy. Okay, wait a minute. So that card is the Unwelcome Child. It is the Apprentice of Notions.
Well, Notions is my family.
Ah, that's fair. This is the Apprentice, which I think which I think has the reverse effect, if I remember correctly, for apprentices. As it brings it down. You've already cast the effect though, so it's not a big deal there.
I don't like this card.
Yeah, there are things going on, and also I may be remembering wrong, and I don't have it immediately in front of you, and we got to plow through here. So let's see here. But it doesn't do anything too weird, I think. But I'll be keeping it in mind as we're going. So, yes, as you are basically stabbing forth and doing this, you're going to successfully first of all describe to me how you bring down the second individual.
Okay.
Is still
here. Yes, I've already pulled out my sword cane. So I just sort of run my hand along the flat of the blade, and the flames just light up behind my hand. And then Vor's sort of like a fencer, because this is a sword cane. So she'll just like lunge out and run the sword right through the one that Shah didn't hit.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, you do, and they burst into flames.
Oh no, my God. No, wait, sorry. And just suggested something that's way better.
Oh, yeah?
then Vor pours the champagne over her blade and uses that to light it on fire. I love that. That's too perfect. We're gonna go with that.
Yes. Let's have that. That's also very on brand.
That's very on brand.
So here's what happens as a result of this. So as you do this, it very effectively causes this person attacking you to burst into flames, and he does that thing where he's like running around going ah, and a nearby curtain catches on fire as he leaps, and then he leaps out the window. So
I don't have water as an aggregate.
So that just happened. So Shantanu,
Yes.
there's this other figure that's going to be passing closer to you before they as they're running, before they make it to where Mac and the others are. So that's a possibility. But then, what would you like to do?
The thing is, exactly. I thought about this before the card, and I have to go through with it now. Depending on how much the coins are reacting, he'll probably take one out and start examining it, fiddling with it.
For this round, I just drew the hunter. That is the adept of notions. Sorry, go ahead. What are you doing?
Yeah, so he's, I don't know, I guess you could say he's trying to perceive the coin, figure out what's going on.
I can't believe how okay. I just need to I need to read this card to you folks real quick, because this is the individual is under game narrative. Important events occur. An NPC is murdered. A group of people struggle to survive against the environment. A large-scale conflict occurs. NPC single-mindedly. Yeah, this is the hunter. Kill or be killed, basically, is what this card is about. So the thing that we see here. So you're asking the coin's opinion, basically. Is that
so? It's essentially, if the coin is humming in ecstasy or whatever, I want to know why. So he's taking out and examining it.
It feels murder. You think that's kind of, you get that sense.
I don't know what to do with these coins. I don't know if they activate or anything like that. So,
would you like to try to do something with one?
Yes, basically by examining it, he's prodding the coin essentially. Like, tell me more, show me what's going on.
Okay. I think sort of through your senses that you usually use to try to sort of gather emotions, it's enjoying what's just been happening sort of over by the windows, and it's kind of like thirsting for more of that, and just feels like it wants to be pressed against someone. Anyone, really. It's not aiming for a specific person.
I'll press it to myself.
I think you're actually, since you've been given it, you sort of are pressing it to yourself. Yeah, okay, if you want to activate it in that sense. So the essence of murder passes through you. You are... Yeah, I think that as this is going on, you're just sort of looking out, and you're, for a moment, as you're seeing everybody, it's like the lights have kind of gone dim and you're only seeing people and things that are pulsing like heartbeats, basically. But as their life essence goes by you. And
you're like, oh, it's that easy to just snuff one of these out. It's like I just have to reach out and touch one. And I guess what I want to ask you is, do you want to do that, or do you resist that urge?
It depends. Do I feel like this is all there is to the urge, or if I could get more out of it by doing what it wants?
Oh my god. So, murdering to someone does change you. Has Shantano ever killed anybody before that he recalls? That they recall?
Nothing that would be... Nothing humanoid, or...
Okay,
just just like animal-like, like in the shadow.
Right,
mostly.
right, yeah. And of course, you also brought down an animal recently, but yeah. So you know that you'll be different afterward.
Right.
You know that might not, but I mean, you do have the understanding that might not necessarily be a good thing. But at the same time, it depends on how into the idea just of pure change you are in this case, if you want to go with that, or if you want to hold off on this particular change.
I have a question about the shadow. So, is that something that we remember greatly, or not really?
You remember, I'm going to say, a significant amount of it. You can recall details from the shadow. So, I mean, some of it's kind of dreamlike, but some of it's pretty vivid.
Okay. Well, I think remembering an aspect of themselves from the shadow, back when they were a fisherman, just watching essentially a fish, the life kind of just evaporate out, something that they remember. I think Shantano would resist, but leave it up to fate. Leave it up to chance. Like he's resisting, but not too hard. Like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, that's who I'm supposed to be.
So you want me to draw a card, maybe? Just to see what's going to happen? Okay. How do we want to resolve this? Is this like 50-50, or is this... as the cards have numbers on them, we can go that way. Or if you want, we can just interpret the card.
If the card says it's a good aspect, he resists fully. If it's a not, then he doesn't.
Drawing. This is the card, by the way, that goes on the invisible sun. So it's going to be in effect for the rest of this evening, in addition to any other cards that get drawn. Well, until we hit another invisible sun, which we probably won't this evening, but let's see. Let's find out, shall we? So the card that I just drew... that's not the one. The card that I just drew... Okay, you can tell me how you want to interpret this. The card that I just drew is the enticing jewel. Its meanings are greed, money, beauty, goals, success. The light at the end of the tunnel, the brass ring, the center of the target. The object of our desire lies before us in the form of the enticing jewel. We want it. We have to have it. It represents beauty, but the side of beauty that demands attention and probably possession. It is the beauty that can sometimes call to our darker natures. It brings out greed, ambition, and selfishness.
Yeah, he's gonna have to embrace the feeling then.
Shantano, who would you like to kill?
Did you say there was a figure passing me?
There is a figure passing you right now. That seems to be trying to run into, attack, or deal with somebody.
Okay.
You want to do that one?
Sure.
Okay. So it's like you can hear this pulsing in your ears as you get closer. What are you doing? You can just reach out and touch them, if you like.
Essentially, if they're walking or coming by, he'll just grab them on the wrist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when you do that, you grab them by the wrist, and immediately, it's like you hear them cry out for just a moment. It's like, ah! And you see their life essence evaporate, and some of it you're able to pull in. This was an Elderbryn. Then immediately the room returns to normal. The feeling passes, but you know that you still feel a little bit of the essence of murder within you. And you look down and you see the coin is dead. It's spent. It is no longer anything but a hunk of metal. And I feel as though probably your cracks are lighting up a little bit right now. And I think I can actually pull us out of action mode now because everyone has been subdued effectively. I will say that, Mac, are you trying to restrain this person, or are you just letting them are you letting them move around?
No, Mac is going to have him pinned down, and his knee is going to be on the back of his neck as he's face down on the ground. But he's going to look up in horror at Shantano and be like, what the frick did you just do?
I mean, I guess Shantano would be like, I guess I used the coin. He'll just drop it to the ground.
I feel like that's actually a pretty good place to end this one. Where things are a little bit nuts. But in the fullness of time, as this is going on, the authorities will come and pick up this individual, who you find his name is Paris. In the aftermath, as he was sort of talking to Isabella, they used to be together, and he was there to try to find out, apparently, if she was seeing anybody. He's a little obsessive.
Wow.
I think Shaw would just pat Isabella on the shoulder and be like, "We've all known at least one. I'm so sorry."
Yeah. So,
meanwhile, Vor's pulled the curtain down and is stomping on it, trying to smother the fire. This whole building doesn't burn out. And then turns to Isabella and goes, "Okay, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to light that on fire."
Nice. So I know that... I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, all the meanwhile, it sounds like glass is shattering in the middle of the room.
There's a lot of sort of chaos going on with things. It's why it's going to wind down, and they'll figure out a way to make the party keep going. But yeah, a little bit of excitement. The building, by the way, is hauling ass. It's leaving. The strip mall's going away. So just real quick, we're going to go around and do our outros. I know that Djinnaya has to go like immediately, so I will start with you.
Hello, my name is Djinnaya, and I make art and play good games with nice people, and you can find me on Twitter, or you can find me in about, I don't know, probably 5 to 10 minutes over on Aras's channel, playing Ryutama. And then Wednesday, you can find me on Katie Faze's channel, running Sins of the Father, which is a game of demonic debt. And then I think that's it until you find me back here next Saturday. Oh, no, probably not, because Gen Con.
2 weeks.
All right. But follow me on Twitter, and I'm going to leave and screw up the entire layout. I'm so sorry.
No worries. We'll figure it out. Thanks. Take care. All right. So as we are resetting the cameras, and just kind of working out the chaos. Let me
Let me just pull this a bit over. Yeah. I'm going to do a quick thing here to make this to see if we can make this work as I'm pulling folks around. Oh my gosh. Perfect. Let's do this. I'm going to use the development mode screen, which was already set up. Everyone's in kind of a weird position right now, but we're going to continue to kind of go around and figure it out. Not all the names are correct, but I can make 2 of the names correct, and we'll deal. So next, as I'm just going to now go what is everyone's going to see as clockwise from myself. The window says Arushka, but this was in fact Mac the Husk this evening. And so Anino, any final thoughts about this session, and where can folks find you?
So this went very diehard and Saturnine pretty quickly, with people jumping in through windows and fighting, and escalated pretty quickly. All for just one stalker ex-boyfriend. That's amazing.
I know, these things happen.
Yeah. These things happen here, apparently. My name is Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. I always post my schedule up there, so just follow, throw some tweets, talk, chat, whatever. You can always reach me there. And I will see you whenever this... 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks. That's when this,
2 weeks. I'll be right back here.
Yeah. So. Excellent. And let's move over to Danielle.
Hi. Wow. Okay. A lot of things happened there. Vor's more than a little terrified by what she did to get rectified. Might be some despair material there. Yeah, I'm Danielle. You can find me on Twitter at @RyRackandTor, or on Instagram at @ThaliaLana, which is also my name in the Twitch chat. I have a fun announcement coming hopefully later this week, maybe next week, so stay tuned for that. But otherwise, catch me in 2 weeks back here.
Yay! Awesome. And now let's move around to Wilde.
Yes, hi, I'm Wilde Engineer. Yeah, that happened today. That you know, I was trying to make Shantano be friendlier. You know, maybe he's gonna join a group. You know, and be friendly. You know, actually try to socialize like a normal, well-adjusted person. But then he absorbed the essence of murder and absorbed someone else's essence. So yeah. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, you can find me I get on Mondays on Welcome to the Party from Masks: A New Generation, and Saturdays for some D&D BX on Greyhawk and here. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, back around to me. This was an interesting session. I loved the character interaction. And sorry to suddenly throw a building at everyone, but I kind of this was like, well, we got to start this off, and it started off, and then things happened. So everyone is going to actually get a despair from the GM shift that I did. So you're going to get that, and then I feel as though there's going to be additional despair to be had for Vor, possibly also for Shantano, if you would like a despair. That's certainly available there for you for what's happened, unless you find this is a really good thing. If this is a joyful thing for you,
it might be a joy. I'll have to check.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to see how it shakes out. So maybe we'll hit next session. Katie's rating! Yay! We're just wrapping up. But thank you so much for coming.
So can I get a joy out of that since my character art is to rediscover my roots of martial arts?
Ooh. That is yeah, I mean, I think that, yeah, if that's like sudden, if this was like the first time you actually did anything like this, and you're you remembered back to Shadow, yeah, or something before Shadow.
It wasn't really something before Shadow. It's just that my character in the Shadow was physically handicapped. So, you know, coming back into Saturn in the actuality, he's sort of enjoying his freedom and doing the things that he always wanted to do, I guess, or at least try to do that. So,
yeah, I give you a joy for that. Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. Very cool. Very cool.
So a joy and a despair. Wow. What a
session. That's right. You get a crux, basically. So a lot happened very quickly. As we move along, I'm going to try to, of course, as we all practice this, we'll all get better at figuring out how things work. But I'm glad we did get in. We had a little bit of action at least, and glad we managed to do that. But as for me, once again, I am Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, and YouTube channel. Tomorrow, on Sundays we do one-shots, so tomorrow we are doing Posthuman Pathways, which is a GM-less story game about transhumanism and the future of our species. I'm very much looking forward to it. And then next week, I'm going to be at Gen Con. So there will not be anything happening on this channel. I am going to try and see if maybe I can... I'm going to have my laptop with me, so I'll see if I can cause some reruns to happen. Or maybe I can schedule them like an adult person before I leave. That might actually make more sense. We'll see how that goes. Let's see if I can figure out how to Twitch. And we'll sort of go there. But then, in about a week and a half or so, we haven't finalized the schedule yet because I'm still just going through the applications. But when we come back, our short campaign for August is going to be Amber Diceless, which is basically about the most powerful beings in the universe who can shape reality, and who are there's a lot of political intrigue between them, between the Royal House of Amber and the Lords of Chaos, which I think there was some degree of inspiration there for parts of this game. So I'm very much looking forward to getting to run that again. I've been running it off and on for decades, and so I'm glad to get back into it since it's been a little while. So then let's see, 2 weeks from today is when we will come back with more of this. We'll be having our next episode of Invisible Sun, The Edge of Paradox. We'll see if there's any fallout from what happened tonight. Sort of let folks get a chance to sort of chill and figure things out. We might have a development mode session sometime between now and then, probably after I get back from Gen Con if we're having one, but it'll depend on scheduling. We might not actually do one that week. Just have to see how things go. We are no signups are open right now, but I'm going to try before I leave to open signups for Project Ninja Panda Taco. That's going to be one of the first one-shot that we're having when we come back. That is a delightful game by Jennifer Steen, just where you are all evil geniuses trying to come up with plans, various projects for probably world domination more than anything else. So I've been wanting to give that a spin, so we're going to give that a spin. So signups for that are going to be up hopefully within the next couple of days. And I'll post an announcement on my Twitter and whatnot when that happens. But as always, beginners are welcome. So when we go to the end card, let me see here. Did I do all the things, or was I horribly distracted? I did all the things there. Good. When we go to the end card, he said again suddenly, Let's see. Who do we want to send a raid over to? Well, is Arras up yet? Because that's where Djinnaya was heading. I don't see them up yet. I don't see them up yet. Am I spelling it right? There it is. And I just wanted to see if they're nope, they're currently hosting someone else. So, yeah, so they're probably gonna be a little bit delayed. So let's see, who else do we want to send one over to? Greyhawk is doing something. We could go over there. Unless anyone has a suggestion, I'm probably gonna leap over to probably gonna just yeah, I'll leap over to the Greyhawk channel, I think. Unless any other suggestions, I'm gonna leap over there. Yes, no? Plot Hunters. Oh, I actually do follow them. Let me see what they're doing. They're having a premiere of their 3rd season of their, looks like they're playing, are they playing D&D? The category is D&D, so yes, we can go and say hi to them. I've not actually had a chance to look at their channel very much, so this will be cool. We'll head over to Plot Hunters. So feel free, if you like, to accompany and say hello. And so that will be, once again, when we hit the end card. But thank you very much for watching, folks. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden. Farewell.